sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine. Trying to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Without no seams nor needlework, then he'll be a true love of mine. Tell him to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Between salt water and the sea strands, then he'll be a true love of mine. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. He once was a true love of mine.
Initialize dampeners. Cut and defeat. Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
And here we are once again having a Sunday hangout here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. I am Bill. It is good to see everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope y'all are doing great. I'm having a great time. Been up all night long, so I am beat. I can tell you right now, pretty dang tired. Checking the chat here. All Music Fan 88 was the #1 first guy in the room, and after that, Radical Mom came in, and then Rick, of course, came in and said he was first. Okay. Timestamps are weird. They all came in around the same time, so I'm going to say my timestamps trump everybody else's. Hey, Mr. George, what's going on? Good to see you. It is about 30 degrees according to my phone. So It got down pretty dang cold. It got down into about 20 degrees last night. The sun's up. It's starting to warm up out there now. I've still got my water dripping. And Radical Mom wanted to be first. Yes, I am. It's been a long weekend, and it's cold as a bejesus here. Hey, Toy Mama, good to see you, Christina. -4 in Chicago. I don't do negative temperatures very well. We're going to get some negatives around -2, 3, or 4 starting next week, and we are under a winter storm watch. And it's going to be tonight and into tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a first alert weather day. I can tell you that now. Last I checked, it was -9 with the wind chill. Good God, 9 below zero. That's crazy. Yeah, we are too. I like that song too. I like that kind of music. I really do. It's some of my favorite Celtic music. Okay, Rick, you are a bad man. Firestorm, right? Yeah, get that milk and bread. I hope you get there before they cleaned it out. I mean, my wife sent me a picture on the phone, Walmart, and it was cleaned out. There wasn't no water, there wasn't no milk, there wasn't any bread. +4 in New Brunswick. Okay. Honor you, 83. Hello, all. 7 degrees in Kentucky. Okay. Had a late night, but a great day. 23 in Ottawa. Blue Harvest, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going, man? Briscoe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, man. And Miss Deborah. 9 with a 1 wind chill degrees here. Burr, yeah. Going to be 4 below here in the UK. I blame America. All right. Well, I don't know what we did, but I guess it's us, right? Right. All right. I'm kind of waiting on a guest to get here. I'm going to have, figuratively speaking, come in and hang out with me. And we're going to talk about something that happened here a while back with Hulk Hogan and Richard Belzer. And I've got the video for it, and I'm probably going to get stung for it, but I don't care. I think I've got, if I keep pausing it and talking over it, we may be able to get away with it. Blame the U.S. and not Canada. Yeah, Canada has nothing to do with it, considering that they're north of us, and that's where all the cold comes from. Right, okay, whatever. Shaitan's Hammer. Hello. No, you're almost English. Yeah, these cold and storms in Canada comes from the United States. Sure, it comes from south of you, right? You guys are funny. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for figurative speaking to get here. He was telling me he had just got up and he was trying to get himself together. So we'll see what happens. That's true. Okay, et tu, Brute. I got you. Okay. Ooh, Hogan and Belzer. That's going to be a great video. Yes, it is. I've got it right here for us, folks. And Adam from Radical Toys. Morning. It's a nice here today. Yeah, it's nice here today, too, if it wasn't so dead blasted cold. I've got my heater on in here. I've got the heater on in the living room. I've got them jacked up to 3 burners. And I haven't had a thing to eat this morning, and I'm hungry as all get out. And but I've got some coffee, and I've got a few cigarettes left in my pack. I may have to take a break here in a minute and run out to the truck and get another pack out of them. I have never been further north than West Virginia, in the United States. I'm not a well-traveled, well-heeled individual there, Rick. I've been to Chicago once. I've been West Virginia several times. And I think the the area in West Virginia, that was a little north of where Chicago was geographically. So, and here he is. All right, I'm going to see if I can get him in here real quick. And while I'm doing that, let me play a few commercials here, and we'll be right back after these messages.
And now these messages.
Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
Here's He-Man, Skeletor, and Castle Grayskull. You have to put the castle together.
You're doomed, He-Man.
Oh, yeah? Watch this action, Dad. Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection from Mattel.
As evening approaches Toothopolis, so do the cavity creeps.
Oh, no! Cavity creeps!
Hurry, the crest's up.
Cavity creeps spotted.
We make holes in teeth.
Crest with Florence can will fix them.
Not crest!
Yay! Crest!
Watch treats,
See your dentist.
and fight the cavity creeps like the Crest team.
Fight cavities with Crest.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the Battle of the Superpowers Collection. What's this? The dam's about to blow and take Robin with it? Who'll stop the Joker and Luthor?
Aquaman.
Kenner's new Superpowers Collection. Figures with power action, each sold separately with its own mini-comic.
Aquaman's down.
Who can help now? A power ring, a power action punch.
Defuse the bomb.
Can this madness be stopped in time? You decide.
There goes the honeycomb hideout.
We're back in caveman time.
Me big caveman, want big cereal.
Try honeycomb, it's a big mouthful.
Honeycomb's big, 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 big. Got a big bite. Right, right, right. Honeycomb's a big mouthful. It tastes just right.
Post-honeycomb cereal is part of a balanced breakfast.
It's big mouthful.
Honeycomb's a big mouthful. It tastes just right.
Bang, bang, bang! Oh, howdy, partner. Time for timer. Do you ever get that hungry feeling after school? Boy, I do. I'm so hungry, I could eat a wagon wheel. When I'm slow on the draw and I need something to chaw, I hanker for a hunk of cheese. When my 10-gallon hat's a feeling 5 gallons flat, I got something planned, which is little cheese sandwiches. Come on! Here's a great little snack to tide you over till dinner. If you want something delicious and nutritious, cheese is a super snack. Look, a wagon wheel. When my get up and go has got up and went, I hanker for a hunk of cheese. When I'm dancing, I hold down and my boots kind of slow down, or anytime I'm weak in the knees. I hanker for a hunk of, a slab or slice a chunk of, a snacker that is a winner, and yet won't spoil my dinner. I hanker for a hunk of cheese. Yahoo!
And
No, you don't.
Hey, what's going on there? You're live on the air with me right now there, figuratively speaking.
Hey, what's going on, Bill? How you doing today?
Doing great, man. The chat's just been busy while I was waiting for you to get in. Back through here, I'll throw some of this up on the screen. We're going to be showing the Hogan and Belzer today. So that's going to be fun. And I think I figured out a way to get around the copyright ID on that. Hopefully what I'll be able to do is, put us up on the screen with it and keep stopping it every once in a while. Chat, let me know how I sound. I know my video is getting a little choppy right now, and that's because my CPU is a little overloaded here. Radical Toys here, and coming back down, Adam says we haven't had a storm yet. World's changing. Back in '84, snow would be halfway up to your waist. Shaitan's Hammer said I went to the dog park in the store before we get hit with the snowstorm. We're under a weather advisory here. I mean, we're looking for some winter weather tomorrow, or late tonight and into tomorrow. Pop Actor says the last 2 days nothing but snow, but not as bad as previous years. No snow here. It's beautiful, says Mary, Radical Mom. Rick says the Crest team should have their own show. And you know, if you remember the old Crest commercial with the Crest team, if you watch those in sequential order, there is a little bit of a continuity between them.
Yes.
And, Jeff here says he misses the Superpowers days, when the old Superpowers commercial I showed earlier. And Shaitan's Hammer liked that Superpowers commercial incorporating household items in the play. I like the egg timer that they had Robin tied up to.
Yes.
And George Valentine says, Aquaman is here to save us. Well, I'm ready to die. Come on now. Aquaman's not that bad. I mean, everybody gives Aquaman a hard time, but when he's powered up after being in the water, he's pretty strong, right?
Yes. And, I don't know. Have you seen the new Aquaman movie yet, Bill?
Talking about the one that everybody's been dunking on and it fell hard at the movie theater. I have not. I don't go to movie theaters anymore, and I don't have a streaming service that has it available to me right now. I think it might be coming to Netflix, but I don't know when they're actually going to put it there.
Okay. Well, I can honestly say, being someone who goes to the movies, this Aquaman movie was probably one of their better ones they did.
So you think that the negative press and the hype is what killed it at the box office? That's your opinion?
Yeah, I really kind of do, because it's kind of like, I look at it kind of like this. People say The Rock killed the Superman character because of disagreements with The Rock through Black Adam. But at the end of the day, Cavill was next to Christopher Reeve, who was the greatest Superman in my book for modern time, at the time that he was Superman. Cavill is the best Superman that we've gotten since Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as Jason Momoa, that is probably the best Aquaman that we've gotten. And the first movie really wasn't all that great, but it was a start, and he warmed into the role. But this movie here, absolutely phenomenal. I love the way that they did it.
All right, hang on just a second, bro. Keep that thought so you can pick it right back up. Answer Pop Actor Rick here. He says Aquaman's only power is talking to fish.
That may be true.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I could have helped that.
No, you're fine. No. So to me, and again, it's my opinion. Jason Momoa, being the actor that he is, sorry, with my hands in the screen, with the actor that he is, and what he had to work with, and as far as it also being a DC movie, they got it almost right. It's not quite there. It's definitely not the MCU, but they got it almost right.
Were there any cringy moments in it?
I think there were. To me, when I go and I see a movie, I definitely want to go see it more than once, because I'm not just wanting to see the eye candy. I want to see everything.
Right.
So we've gone and seen it a few times, and each and every time I'm always catching something new. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep it in my hand. So at the end of the day, I think that what they've done with the movie is great. It's definitely not a Nolan film like he did on the Dark Knight series. It's definitely not. I forgot who did the Man of Steel series, but even the Man of Steel,
Snyder.
Yeah. Even when they started the Man of Steel series, movie series, the first one wasn't that great, but it got better as it progressed, especially after Christopher Nolan took over. So, giving credit where credit is due, there is a definite, there is some lacking, of course, and it's also, unfortunately, in the DC universe. Again, you have to have people that actually care about the property first and foremost, care about the people that are to be making the, you got to care about the character, you got to care about the story, and most of all, you got to care about the property. That goes with pretty much anything, because again, it's like Disney taking over Lucasfilm. Those last 3 movies were absolutely horrendous. Granted, okay, we got a close on the Star Wars saga, but that's not the close, and that's not how the story was really supposed to go. Even the books are different.
Yeah, and George Lucas even doesn't count it. G-Canon trumps everything, I think, and your mileage may vary. I'm not telling you if you enjoyed it, that I hate you or anything. I mean, good grief, enjoy what you like, but give me the respect of letting me not enjoy what I don't enjoy.
Right. This sucks. One-handed still sucks. I don't care what anybody says.
Trying to get a cigarette lit with one hand in the wind.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
Matter of fact, my pack's done got low here, so I may have to take a break here in a little bit to run outside to the truck where I got some more at. Shaking said, even if you course correct, the correction will be ignored by the public and the fan base. And that was from what he had said earlier when he said failure has a negative impact on good work. So there's a danger of putting out bad stuff. Even if you put out an awesome product, it drags down the good stuff. And that's correct. And I think the Amber Heard or the I just screwed up and said her name out loud on YouTube. Oh, I'm done. I think that the controversy there may have had a negative impact on it that otherwise shouldn't have been. I mean, can we not compartmentalize and realize that these are actors and they're not playing themselves on the freaking screen? Thank you, people.
Yes.
Oh, Thanos Copter says, "Oh, I thought we had to fight about it until we weren't friends anymore." Yeah, that's kind of the modern way of thinking about disagreements, right?
Right.
Now, Adam says, "Thankfully, we did get Mandalorian and the Ahsoka show." So, weird because back in the day, there was no chance the show would be better than the film. Now it feels like a 180-degree turn now. That some of the Star Wars television is better than anything they put out in the movies here in a while since, I guess, what was that first one that they did? Rogue One. That was good. Everything after that sucked balls. And then there was that Han Solo movie that nobody asked for.
Right.
Briscoe 1234. Now, I agree or disagree with this, John. Briscoe 1234 says Disney completely has destroyed Star Wars beyond repair.
I agree. When you think about it, okay, you go into, a lot of people complained about episode 1, 2, and 3 after 4, 5, and 6 came out, but I think a lot of the controversy was with that is look at the lightsaber battles that they had in episodes 1, 2, and 3, then go back into episode 4, 5, and 6, New Hope, Empire, and then Jedi, and look at the lightsaber battles and that. It fails in comparison, but the stigma of the movie still stands out better than 1, 2, and 3. And then when you look at 7, 8, and 9, okay, the lightsaber battles were almost non-existent, and maybe they had been good for what the movie was. But then again, at the same time, if you don't know your Star Wars lore, like I knew I didn't know as much as I know now. Who the hell is Ben Solo?
Right.
All you know is that at the end of the day, okay, Han and Leia had a child, but then again, if you go back into the books, there's no mention in the movie. Where's Jan and Jace? Those were also those are also some of Luke Skywalker's
first pupils in the Jedi Academy. Yeah,
correct. So there's a lot of integrity that's missing. There's a lot of information that's missing, and they never went back on it.
They were making that up as they went, and it was pretty obvious. Shaitan's Hammer says the prequels look like Shakespeare compared to Disney Star Wars. Now, one of the things that I have noticed, now the prequels got dunked on pretty hard back in the day, and one of the problems with that was George Lucas can't write dialogue worth of crap, and he's not a very good director. When Erwin Kershner took over for Empire, I mean, it made everything a whole lot better. He's good at story treatments and coming up with ideas. However, one phenomena I have noticed is that those of us who grew up with the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, if you will, New Hope, Empire, and Jedi, those are our favorites. The kids who grew up when the prequel trilogy began, who watched 1, 2, and 3, they were like, these are better. Have you noticed that phenomena? It's kind of different depending upon your age. Now, what I'm wondering is if the ones who have seen nothing but Disney Star Wars, what they think about the originals as compared to the Disney. I have a feeling that they can detect bad as well as you and I on that.
Right. Well, I guess it really depends. What I think when you look at today's generation, hell, even our generation, when we looked at the eye candy that we got in the movies in our generation, it wasn't the way it is today because we didn't have what we have today. And of course, Lucasfilms, they helped bring a lot of this into play of what we have today. And it wasn't just Lucasfilms, but there's a lot of CGI that's used, and can you really tell if it's CGI or if it's a real person? Personally, at the end of Rogue One, when you see Princess Leia, you can somewhat tell that that's not really Princess Leia because, you know, she's older. But damn, look at the CGI work that they did, that they put over the actor's face to make her look just like Princess Leia.
And I think that some of that could be better than what it is, and it's getting better with time. Although I have heard that some of the artists in that genre are getting overworked and not getting enough time to get things correct nowadays, which is why we're seeing some of the really, really bad stuff. I'm looking directly at you, She-Hulk. The Star Wars EU was superior to what Disney has given us. That's a given there, Shaitan's Hammer. The extended universe was great. I love Dark Force Rising, I believe was the name of it, which to me is the true sequel to Star Wars. Thanos Copter says the sequels didn't have a plan and seemed to become a pissing contest between directors. It was like they were playing a little game of ad libs, you know. Okay, I'm going to write the first one, and then you pick up where I left off. You fucked up. Let me get the guy who wrote the first one to come back and fix everything that you fucked up. You know, that's what it seems to me like it was.
Yeah.
And
I think that Disney having, and I'm not knocking J.J. Abrams for what he for his directing prowess, but every movie that J.J. Abrams really does has some sort of World War II scene somewhat in it. When you first get introduced to the First Order in Episode 7, you see the whole line of stormtroopers, and then you get the speech. It's like watching Adolf Hitler give the speech to the Third Reich. And I thought that was very inappropriate. I didn't like that at all. Then when you get
now, wait a minute. I'm going to disagree with you slightly there. The Empire were always analogous to the Yahtzees. You know, let's not say ugly words here on YouTube. The bad guys from World War II, they were meant to look like that. Their uniforms and everything about their demeanor and the way they acted were meant to evoke that, if I'm not mistaken. Briscoe 1234 says, I still hate the prequels. The only good Star Wars is the original non-special editions and a couple of games and books. The thing about the prequels, I think the story was a short story. Could have been one damn movie as far as I'm concerned, that got stretched into 3 movies. Lucas had an outline for that existed all the way back to the first 3 movies and the first one that got made. And for proof, I give you the Star Wars novel, Ghost, written by Alan Dean Foster, that was credited to being written by George Lucas. If you read the first page, the paragraphs of that outline the rise of Palpatine. Palpatine's even mentioned by name in that.
Yes.
All of the material that we were led to believe is there in a formal fashion. That Anakin was being Obi-Wan's apprentice. They were friends. He was one of the greatest star pilots in the galaxy, starship pilots in the galaxy. And then he turned to the dark side, and they fought over a open volcano where Anakin fell into the volcano, and I guess he was considered dead at that point, but he survived and was put into that machine and became Darth Vader. And that's kind of it's all there. You know, when I read Starlog magazine, I remember distinctly reading that passage telling us how Darth Vader came to be. And I think all of that could have been kind of condensed into one movie, but Lucas had to make 3 movies. He had to drag this out. There was a lot of simplified scenes that he had to overcomplicate in order to do that.
Yes. And sorry.
And Rick's got a good point here. Each era speaks to the current generation that it happens in. New Hope, Empire, Jedi speaks to an 80s generation. The recent one speaks to this current generation, which I fear is a lost generation.
Yeah.
And Radical Toys says animatronics versus CGI. I think too much CGI is a big issue.
I agree with that.
Okay, I just got a text message here from Entergy, which is our electric company here. So they're warning me that severe weather is expected in your area in the coming days. Crews are ready to respond as quickly and safely as possible. And for preparations, it tells me where to go to. Well, thank you, Entergy, for telling me what I already knew.
Well, earlier I had faced my camera out my door. We got just a little bit of snow, but it was it's so cold now, and it's unusually cold for Missouri. We're sitting right now at -1.
Yeah, and we're down here. You're kind of up there, you know, where Heat Miser and Snow Miser kind of fight each other for control. Heat Miser usually has pretty well control over where I live at right now, but I think that he's snoozing right now, and Snow Miser has come on down here because it's going to get down into the below zero here in the next few days here as well. Shaitan's Hammer says Ryan Johnson's only reason for existence was to stomp on fandom. I don't know. I wonder if their intentions were good, but you know the consequences of intentions, good intentions, sometimes turn out bad.
Yeah.
Subverting expectations is not a good motivation for creativity. It's the inverse of art. Now that's a true statement if there ever was one. Radical Toy says KOTOR Star Wars was too good. I'm scared to see the day those come to screen. That's Knights of the Old Republic, by the way. That those come on screen, they're messing it up somehow. I don't know. Do you think that the video games are canon, or do you find yourself picking and choosing which parts of the video game story that you think is part of the overall story itself?
I really don't even know how to. Where do I begin with
that? That's a complicated thing to ask. I know very little about the video game lore. I find that if it comes here's my thought on that. Okay, and you tell me whether you agree or disagree. When it comes to stuff like that, if it's required reading, then it becomes part of it. But if you can safely ignore it and it changes nothing about the story itself, then it's apocryphal.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny on how today's generation has, because if you think about some of the video games that are out, seeing as we was on the topic of Star Wars, so let's go into The Force Unleashed. When you talk about Star Killer, you know, they brought some of that into the of the movies where Star Killer was Star Killer Base. However, Starkiller was a clone that Vader made, Vader was training. But at the end of the day, where does that fit into the lore, and how does that become canon? And then when something else comes around and destroys that version of canon, you know, it's I guess in the same scenario, everything that we know about our generation is not everything that we know about Star Wars from this generation. So even though the canon from the original movies is still pretty much set in stone, there's still going to be some way, somehow, that something in our canon is removed for the next generation's canon.
Or it's shown from a different point of view, as that liar Ben Kenobi would say. Briscoe1234 says the prequel started it all wrong and never should have started with Anakin as a little kid. And I agree with that. Yeah. I agree very, very wholeheartedly with that. And that's kind of part of what ruined it. And everybody dunked on poor old Jake Lloyd. And of course, that was a tragedy right there. His life afterwards. That was not that child's fault.
No.
There's a bunch of good stuff in the Alan Dean Foster book. That you talking about I think he wrote all three of the novels for those, and he worked from George Lucas's working script, not from the actual movie script that was used. And a lot of Lucas's ideas came out in those books. If you read The Empire Strikes Back, it talks about Boba Fett wearing the armor of a Mandalorian super commando. I mean, all of that stuff was there. It just wasn't fleshed out the way we thought it was going to be fleshed out. Which, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute. With something Shaitan Hammer said a little bit later on here. Let me catch his chat up right quick. Radical Toys, I think the overall issue with a bad movie is not being able to tell the story in an hour and a half. Or a good story can be told in an hour and a half. 90 minutes used to be a pretty good runtime for a movie. 2 hours is perfect. I think when we start getting into these bloated movies with 3 and 4 hour runtimes, things start to get dragged out. You start getting too much filler in there, which really, really slows a movie down. The sequel trilogy was not the time for them to take chances or try to subvert expectations. The thing about the sequel trilogy was we had an idea of where that was supposed to go, and we had been shown and given hints of that, and Disney threw all of that in the trash. They even took George Lucas's scripts treatments that he had written on that years and years ago, and yes, it all existed all the way back to 1977. I don't care what anybody says. Those treatments may not have been but 2 or 3 pages long, but they were there. That was all thrown in the trash. When we get to watch a movie or read a story, we expect things to unfold along a certain path. There are a bunch of reasons why. Yes, we do. Now, can a good movie be made that doesn't flow down the path we expect? It certainly can. And that's a sign of a good writer who is able to take what we expect and give us something that we didn't and entertain us along the way. That is an art, and it's lost today. It also requires you wanting to take a chance. And one of the things that hurt, especially the first movie in the prequel trilogy, was the fact that nobody wanted to take a chance. So they decided to pretty much remake Star Wars: A New Hope all over again. That's my opinion. Radical Toy is saying overall story and games characters usually have backgrounds. It takes game months in a story and a movie compared to 2 hours. Yeah, well, a lot of time passes in movies that we don't realize. You know, Luke probably spent close to a month there on Dagobah when they were actually, you know, the way it was told cinematically was concurrently with the story of Luke and Han, Leia and Han and Chewbacca going to Bespin. But I'll turn it over to you. I've talked too much. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I lost my train of thought. I kind of think, definitely, I agree with what Adam says with that. You know, you could create a game, and it doesn't matter. But if you get to let's just say in the same right, you got a game that's been mainstream since the early, I think, 2000s, coming on the PS3, and that was Assassin's Creed. Now, what an amazing game, what an amazing adventure. And going through all of that, then you got the movie in that same right, and the movie sucked. I mean, just absolutely. I hated it. Absolutely hated it to its very core. It was not like the only thing that was like the game were some of the battle scenes. That was about it. I could have did without it.
And well, I think it boils down to you still have to respect the source material, even if you deviate slightly from it. It has to have the same spirit, and if it does not, then it tends to fail. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. Again, you got to have people who love the characters, who love the story, and are willing to do and work from the source material you already have. Now, that doesn't mean that it has to be exactly like the video game or exactly like the comic book.
Yeah, we have to understand that when you're dealing with different media tells its story in a different way. What you can do in a novel, you cannot do on screen a lot of times. There's many books that are great books. Dune is a perfect example. That book is this thick, folks. And it is so full of world building that it's not even funny. And a lot of it is unfilmable. Any Dune film that I've seen so far has had to be a little different than that in order to tell the story. As even the very first one, it tried its best, but if you hadn't read the novel, you couldn't understand what was going on the screen half the time.
Right.
And real quick, I want to address this statement here by Shaitan's Hammer, and he is absolutely right. The Star Wars radio plays are very good and worth listening to, and of course you can find them here on the Tubies for freezies. But the Star Wars radio plays, I think they were done on PBS. They contain a lot of the missing scenes that we've only here lately been able to see some of that were cut, and they tell some of the backstory between Luke and his friend that got killed there in the X-wing and all that stuff. Biggs, And once again, that radio play was written from the working script, the same one that Alan Dean Foster used to write that novel. And and radio plays, you can tell a story much differently in a radio play than you can on screen. And
right.
One of the things about that is, okay, when you're dealing with a book or radio play, where you don't have any visuals to work with, and it takes the writer to describe those visuals. Anything that you produce in your mind is going to be a million times better than anything that somebody can make on screen, whether it be with practical special effects or with CGI or anything like that.
Oh, true. It's kind of like I found out about it about 4 months after the episode 1, 2, and 3 was made in Star Wars. That there was a animated cartoon that was done in 2 separate things. So it's everything that happened in between 2 and 3 that leads you exactly into where you start episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And it shows exactly where Anakin got the scar on his face. It shows, it tells the story, everything in between there, and it was done so perfectly that when you get into the next source material, which is Revenge of the Sith, you see how all of that came together.
Mm-hmm.
The only movie that did that to bring what happened after Revenge of the Sith was Rogue One. It tied 4 into 3.
And Rogue One was a good movie. It was probably one of the only Disney movies that I give a thumbs up to. That was a well done movie. It kind of filled in a few gaps for us, like you said. And the I think the animation you were talking about that was the Clone Wars, not the series, but there was a movie that he's talking about called the Clone Wars, and that was the gap filler, and it was excellent, I think. And I didn't get to watch it until much later, when I actually had my first subscription to Disney Plus, and there it was, and I watched it, and I'm like, hey, this is not bad at all. I kind of wished I'd seen this before I saw that movie. And I think that's what you were getting at there. Quickly, let me get to Shaitan's Hammer here, who says, the sequel's aversion to time jump seems to be a modern day generation thing. Star Wars movies are supposed to have time jumps to allow for growths between movies.
Absolutely.
But of course, Ray Palpatine was perfect because that's one of today's fads is to write these Mary Sue women characters into these movies that are perfectly perfect. They never go on the hero's journey because they start out perfect to begin with, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of that shit fails. And that's that's just me. But I think that when you start taking tried and true storytelling methods and you say, oh, this is shit, and throw it in the garbage, and you start hacking out bullshit, you're going to suffer for it. And that's one of the reasons why movie theaters are losing money left and right. Nobody's going to the freaking movies.
Well, it's not just that. When if you really think about it, Hollywood is.
Don't worry, Rick. We'll get off of this in just a minute. He wants us to get to Richard Belzer. We're going to do that. So,
if you really think about it, Hollywood is no longer. Well, Hollywood is always Hollywood, but my specific name for it is Holly Weird, and they have nothing new. Nothing new. That's why you keep getting all these reboots and revamps, and it's good. Good.
We got Brick something here with us. He enjoyed. Now I can't pronounce that because I'll be a Southern boy from Mississippi here. Vianney's Dune, but Herbert's work was some of my favorite works of literature. As you said, it's hard to bring the screen correct. Almost unfilmable, some of that stuff in the first Dune novel. Let me catch his chat up, and we're going to appease Rick here and watch some Richard Belzer getting his comeuppance. We're enjoying Rebels. That ties in with Maul and Obi-Wan leading to New Hope. I liked Rebels. I did. My wife did not, but I liked it. The Clone Wars, excellent visual storyteller, says Gojutron, yes. I hated that they made it so that the Death Star was built with a weakness from Jen's dad in Rogue One. Okay, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, we had to explain it away somehow, and I thought that was okay. And Bjorn agrees with Gojutron. Everybody agrees with Gojutron because Gojutron is the man. For a bunch of reasons, says Shaitan's Hammer, Hollywood's pretense has fallen away. And Gojutron says, I like to refer to Hollywood as creatively bankrupt. All right. Pop actor Rick, thank you for bringing us back on topic here. We've gone off on the Star Wars tangent. We started off going to DC and going underwater with Aquaman, and somehow we fell into the Star Wars tangent here, and we've strayed off into the wilderness. So thank you for shining a light there so that we could find our way back to the path. Let me run a commercial break real quick and give us time to take a breath, and when we come back, we'll see what's going on with Richard Belzer and Hulk Hogan. So we'll be back after these messages.
And now these messages.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection.
Impossible. The Hall of Justice under attack. Batman behind bars.
New from Kenner's Superpowers Collection. Hall of Justice playset. Some assembly required. Vehicles and figures sold separately.
Use the trapdoor, Batman!
Brainiac's taken over the computer. Joker in the elevator. Evil forces joining for a final assault. Who can restore order?
Superman!
Can Superman save the Hall of Justice? You decide.
Behind its wall of beautiful teeth, Toothopolis is under constant siege by the Cavity Creeps.
We make holes in teeth.
Cresty, look! Crest team, the Cavity Creeps are coming.
We'll fight them with Crest's fluoride.
Crest!
Yay! Watch treats, see your dentist, and fight the Cavity Creeps like the Crest team.
Fight cavities with Crest.
This toy comes with something that can really open up a kid's imagination. Its own legend.
He-Man! Skeletor is his enemy.
It's the Masters of the Universe collection. And for my kids, the legend begins here with Castle Grayskull.
It holds the powers of the universe.
He-Man, Skeletor has captured Castle Grayskull.
We must stop his evil power. To Grayskull!
Defeat He-Man's forces, but leave him to me.
Here I am, Skeletor.
He-Man! Skeletor is getting away!
But Castle Grayskull is safe with us.
Nothing's safe while Skeletor is out there.
And so the legend continues in this Masters of the Universe collection. And in the imagination of my kids. Look for it. It's new from Mattel.
Here are a few words about Levi's jeans and cords.
Levi's.
Hey, go straight. Okay. Go down. Go down. Hey, what? Go down. Get down. Go down. Go down.
I got it. You get it.
Levi's.
All right. Everybody was talking about the commercials. Why was the Hall of Justice yellow? I think for eye appeal purpose for children. And they were talking about the Masters of the Universe ad that featured the Filmation cartoon footage. That was basically the pilot for the cartoon. That was where they were showing, hey, this is what we can do. And of course, it had to be simplified greatly from that when they actually produced the cartoon. Brick Something says that the art and animation style hits that boxy style rotoscoped goodness. So yeah. Let me get into studio mode here so I can get some of our stuff on the screen here. I need to grab this and copy that. Come back over here and add that in. And now I can go back over here and get out of studio mode, and we can show what folks are saying on the screen. And of course, I think I got your face there covered up with it, and I'll move that around. Hey, what's going on, Alex? Good to see you. I'm going to move this over here. That way you don't get your face covered up when we're doing that. All right. Brickton says we got snowed in over at Allison's. Boo. Oh, wow. Oh, man. They're snowed in. All right. So I am going to bring this and start this up. Before I start, I'm gonna kind of set this up. Okay, this is the spring of 1985. The WWF's making the media rounds to debut this little known event called WrestleMania that they had come up with. And this happened on Richard Belzer's live television show. And it would also lead to a lawsuit between him and Hogan. I think he caused this himself. And if you watched his antics on there, he's not very sympathy. I have no sympathy for the man after watching this. So the first WrestleMania was going to be headlined by Roddy Piper, Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and the heroic team, of course, of Hogan and Mr. T. So T has this thing about helping the kids, and he wants to get the kids there. So they go out and cart in a bunch of kids. And he said, "Now these kids, some of these kids got to be crippled now." I don't know why he's fixated on that. So we've got a bunch of kids in the audience watching this crap, and some of them, I guess, are crippled. Yes, Belzer was a jerk, very much so, and I think that was his little shtick, but it didn't go over very well. So just hold on just a second. Hello, dear. You're live on the air.
I'm gonna see it off here. It is icy rain we have right now.
Okay, so we got some freezing rain going on. Okay, babe. And you're going to stay there all night tonight, right?
I am. I was reminding you of that.
Okay, well, my dear wife says that she's safe. She's letting me know what the weather's like, and she's going to be with her patient all night tonight. So thank you for being here today. Say hello to the chat and on the show today.
Okay, hello. Goodbye. And
all right, baby. We'll see you later. Love you.
bye. Love you too.
All right. Belzer was funny. Rest in peace, says Alex. All right. And going back to what I was saying, watch Mr. T. He's sitting there the whole time. He's sitting there working out with this big workout thing the whole time, and he is not in a good mood. So I'm gonna start this, and then we're gonna stop and start it so that we're doing this in little spurts here. Here we go.
Yeah, you used to be a bad guy in the wrestling world. Now you're a good guy. How did you make that switch?
Now, what he just did there was, and I'm going to play that one more time. He called out Hogan for being a heel that made a face turn, and I want you to watch how Hogan stays in kayfabe the whole time, never breaking character, and deflects that.
Yeah, you used to be a bad guy in the wrestling world. Now you're a good guy. How did you make that switch?
Well, you know,
I mean, to me, you're a good guy all the time.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, when I came to the WWF World Wrestling Federation about 78, 79, I needed a little management, man. I was kind of new up here, and I didn't really know what was going on. So Mr. Fred
Now he's going to talk about his original manager when he was a heel wrestler when he first started.
He offered me a lot of money if I do things his way. Well, you know,
That's Classy Freddie Blassie who he's talking about. Said he offered me a lot of money to do things his way.
I'm still wrestling the same way. The fact that I started training, saying my prayers, eating my vitamins, and I got rid of Freddie Blassie, that's what the people get off on, you know. I don't need his guy.
So he started saying his prayers and eating his vitamins, and he kicked Freddie Blassie to the curb. See, and that's when he became good guy Hulk Hogan. Now it's your decision whether he's being a good guy in this interview or not.
Anymore. The fact that I go in the ring, I try to wrestle fairly, but when somebody takes a cheap shot at
Check out Mr. T on there, boy. It's like that thing he's got in his hand. He hates it, and he's just sitting there working the hell out of that.
I like to give him a little receipt. It's kind of like do unto others.
Yeah, he's giving receipts. Now that's a wrestling term right there, giving a receipt.
Before they do unto you. And that's what the people in New York City and all over the world get off on, man, because I'm a survivor. I take care of business, and the thing is, I fear no man.
I believe you.
Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
Look at Belzer's face right there. He truly believes that this is all bullshit. And I'm wondering if he thinks that these guys are going to play along with his shtick here in a minute, because it starts to go south pretty quick.
Man,
I can dig it twice.
Are you a man?
What do you think?
I really don't know.
You want to step outside?
No. Look at Belzer. He looks like that he could just drop and blow away in the wind there, and he's asking Hulk Hogan to step outside. I think he thought he was being funny, and I think he thought that these guys were going to play along with the joke, but T wasn't in a good mood. You could tell that, and I don't think Hogan was going along with it either. Remember, this was back in the days of KayFabe, and if you remember, and correct me if I'm wrong there, John, they were told whenever they went out to cut these promos and go on these shows, to protect the industry at all costs.
Absolutely. That's very true.
Here we go.
Why don't you guys, I want you to show me some
we ain't showing you nothing.
moves.
All right, show me some moves. He asked for it right there. And say what you will about Mr. T. Mr. T was the only one in that room right there at that moment who had his head on straight. No, we ain't going to show you no moves. And I think that's where that should have ended right there. But, of course, it didn't. And Shaitan's Hammer says he thinks there's a script. Yeah, there's it was a different time, folks. Let's go on. I ain't going to show you no moves.
We didn't come here to show no moves, man. You know, we didn't come
I'm talking to him, man. Okay.
You want to see some moves?
Now look, Idiot stands up and doubles down, and T is trying to talk sense into him, and I think Hogan should have been listening. I'll bring something. You need to edit in the Law and Order after everything Belzer says. Doon doon. Let's keep on going with this because it's fixed to get ugly here in a minute.
You buy your clothes to the ticket.
Yeah. All right. Hogan whispers something in T's ear at this moment. He says, I'm gonna put this idiot into a front chin lock, and we're gonna stop him. And then T's like, okay, because T knows that a move like that is generally not destructive. It's a wrestling hold. Yes, you can cut somebody's oxygen off, and I think Belzer being high on cocaine at this moment, and yes, he was high on cocaine at this moment, was one of the reasons why he blacked out so quickly. And Jim Cornette goes into that. If you watch him, he talks about how that can happen if you're all blown up on that shit like that. Mike Fee says, I remember when Big Van Vader beat up a news reporter for saying wrestling was fake. Yeah, that was overseas, was it not? Do you remember that there, John, when Big Van Vader beat that guy's ass on TV?
I think that was overseas when that happened, but at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, that was ordered really by Vince McMahon, or so they say.
Well, Vince McMahon told Dr. D to sit there and slap John Strassel's ass too.
Right.
Okay, Alex. Belzer had a daytime talk show back in 1985, and I want to say it was probably a local New York talk show. It wasn't like nationwide, but it was live, and it was on one of the local stations there in New York City. So that no, that was Dr. D's that slapped the crap out of John Stossel. We'll have to go over that one sometime as well, Alex. But getting back to this, all right. So according to Belzer in a 1990 interview, the day of the show, like 3 or 4 hours before the show, someone who works for Mr. T called the office. Mr. Belzer, Mr. T will not do the show unless there are 50 children in the audience, and some of them have to be crippled. And I said, wait a minute, you want me to get some kids and cripple some of them to get them to the show? What do you mean? So this tells you right here that Belzer had already pissed off Mr. T, because you know that by saying that facetious shit back to whoever was working for T, calling them up, they went straight back to Mr. T and told him what he had said, and that already got him all pissed off. So they got the kids in there, and all this is going on, and we talked about KayFabe, you know, and Hulk Hogan deflecting that. And yes, I'm talking up a storm and not showing a whole lot of this video, because that's what keeps us from being demonetized here and getting content ID. So right now, in a cocaine fueled haze, we have Richard Belzer. Now he says that Hogan told him to signal him if it hurts. And he claims that he tried to signal Hogan that it was hurting him, and Hogan ignored it. I don't think that any of that is true.
I don't think any of that's true. Look, I love this video just because of one. It really is the whole kayfabe, but it's the beginning of a miraculous show that Vince McMahon started with the WWF WrestleMania. That's first and foremost. So everything in that matter was, you know, okay, so we're gonna show, because there was a lot of people that was like, okay, yeah, this crap's fake. This is that. Okay, well, let's go show them something. Sometimes wrestling can be very real.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to address some chat here. First of all, Mike Fee says that he was told once by Kevin Nash, and if you ever met Kevin Nash, you rock, dude. That the one rule is to never say anything about wrestling being fake around a wrestler. That's the way they were programmed. That you had to quash that and protect the industry at all costs. Deadly rule, and Rick Steiner backed him up on that. So yeah, I know that for a fact. And if you ever watch any interviews where the reporter says the words fake, they go fucking off the wall as soon as they hear that freaking word. And Brick Something's laughing at that hilarious response by Belzer. Get some kids and cripple them. And Bone Breaking Action here. Hey man, how's it going? Says a fun conversation. And he said Randy Orton slapped the reporter's glasses off a while back. I guess probably for the same damn reason. Okay, so we've got Richard Belzer here, He's fixing to get knocked out. Now, Rick said that he didn't think that the front face lock or the chin lock there was a sleeper hold. It's not technically a sleeper hold, but what you do is you get that carotid artery and you stop that brain blood from going to the brain. It will knock you out. However, just to set this up, what we're going to see, Hogan does not have that applied for a very long period of time, and it should not have knocked out a healthy human being who wasn't jacked up on cocaine and their heart racing and already blown up from that. And when Hogan let go of him, I don't think Hogan realized that this cat was completely knocked out, because you see in just a minute, Belzer's going to clown on him before he puts the hold on him, falling in the floor and acting a freaking fool before Hogan even really puts his hands on him. I don't think Hogan realized he was knocked out, and when Hogan let go of him, he thought he was still on his feet, and he fell and hit his head on the floor. I don't think Hogan meant for that to happen. I don't think Hogan realized that that this guy was completely knocked out. So here we go.
All right, we're gonna show you some moves. Come on. Elementary. We're gonna show you some over here.
There's certain terminology in wrestling for certain.
We're gonna show you the body slam. Take those glasses off. We're gonna show you the body.
Okay, so he's talking about certain terminology in wrestling. Now Belzer's close enough to this to understand the wrestler speak, the things that we talk about. He even knows what KayFabe is. He knows all of that, and I think he also knows that these guys are not going to allow him to expose the industry. But he thinks this is all fun and games. Now Hogan tells him to take his glasses off. He doesn't want to break the man's glasses. And you can hear Mr. T back there. Yeah, we're going to get to that bone breaking accident. It's fixed to happen here in just a second, but I'm trying to keep from getting ID struck here. So we got to talk around this and show little pieces of it. And even then, the WWE is probably gonna grab my ass anyway. But here we go.
Take off my glasses.
Okay, Tito said, show him a body slam. That never goes right. If I'm not mistaken, let me look over here real quick. That happened one time with Giant Haystacks. He body slammed Jackie Fullerton in the 1980s, and he body slammed this reporter into the freaking floor and broke his ribs. So I don't think anybody was going to body slam anybody there on TV. I don't know why T was doing it. I think T was just, playing along with Hogan there. Appropriate music. Yeah. It's fixed to get ugly. Here we go.
We're going to show you the peach squeak sandwich.
You just stay right there. Don't you come over here.
That's right.
Squeak sandwich.
Now, the camel crusher, what's that?
Camel clutch.
The camel crusher. He knows what a camel clutch is.
I don't
camel
use
clutch.
that move because...
Well, show me one of the moves that you use. What's your famous move?
Well, I'm going to have to stick to the basic review. The floor is a little hard here. I don't want you getting hurt. There's something
The floor is a little hard, and I don't want you to get hurt. I think Hogan was sincere. What do you think there, John?
I think he was sincere. I also think if you rewind that back a little bit to where when he started to grab him, when he grabbed the hair, I almost kind of wonder, because he did fall face first towards Hogan, and then when they dropped the camera down, you could see his feet go under Hogan, and he goes back. Mm-hmm. So I'm also kind of wondering, is it possible before the interview happened, did he blade the back of his head?
Oh, so you think that this has all been a work the whole time?
I really kind of do, because we haven't gotten to that point yet.
I have
But
not
when
ever
you
considered that, considering the fact that Belzer ended up settling out of court for $5 million over this and bought himself a little estate over there in France.
look at the pool of blood behind his under his head when he gets up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole lot of blood for that little bitty bump, to me.
I don't know how well it's going to show up on this muddy, shitty video that I have over here. And of course, the shittier the video quality is over here, the better off I am, folks. So I'm not going to really apologize for that. So here we go. We're going to continue to go. Now watch. Belzer's fixing to clown on Hogan here in just a minute. And I think that this is what led Hogan to believe that he was clowning on him when he had him in the chin lock.
Hurt either, so be careful.
Yeah, you can apply, nice and easy if you bend over.
No, I'm sorry.
See, that kind of bullshit right there is what I'm talking about.
Now, the first thing you need to know about amateur wrestling or professional wrestling are submission holds. You just tell me, brother, when you want him to quit squealing, okay? All right. That's called a front chin lock.
All right, he's got that thing locked in pretty good. And you see the way Belzer is in that chin lock there, and his arms are out, flayed out like this, and Hogan is fixing to apply. And look at Hogan's arms. Hogan is in the peak of his physical strength at this point. Here, he's been working out, preparing for WrestleMania. He could snap this idiot's head clean off of his shoulders and break his neck if he wanted to at this point. That is a lethal catch-can wrestling move. If you want it to be. I don't think Hogan applies a whole lot of pressure. I think he wanted to hurt him just enough to show him, hey, this is not all the fun and games that you think it is. I think he wanted him to feel a little pain.
How about it, T?
Keep like that for a little while.
All right, right now. Leave him like that for a little while, says T. And then you see his arms move up towards Hogan's waist, and then they just drop to the side. That's how quickly that this guy got knocked out. That's why the consensus, in my opinion, is, and I agree with Jim Cornette, he had just got through snorting cocaine before he came out to do this show, and his heart was racing 90 miles an hour. Here we go. Now, he just fell out of Hogan's arms. Hogan let go of him immediately. And so if there was supposed to be some sort of a "you're hurting me" move, it might have been when he put his hands on his waist. And then, boom, he's knocked out. Hogan thinks he's still clowning, and so Hogan lets go of him. And if I'm not mistaken, if we watch that video, he fell straight down. Now they're gonna pan out here, and there's Belzer laid out on the floor. Now the video is too dark; we can't see. There is a pool of blood in the back, pooling up around the back of his head. There's a cut back there that took 9 stitches to close up when his head smacked that hard concrete floor there in that studio. But we can't make out in this shitty video here what we're supposed to see here. Mike B says T is cool in person, but he gets annoyed at people after a period of time. So he has to go time out for a bit at meet and greets. I met so many good people that are wrestlers. Yeah, I think you're kind of right on that. No, says Brick something. Ding ding. All right, let's move on here. Now, when you get knocked out, I've only been knocked out once in my life, and I kind of can see this. When you get knocked out, your brain basically shuts down for a minute and has to reboot. And when you wake up from that, the first thing out of you're like, who am I? Where am I? What just happened? So you're really dazed at that point. And now to Belzer's credit here, when his brain rebooted, brain stem only at that point, he found his mark and cut to a commercial break. That's an instinct. That's an actor instinct. Find my mark. And those floors got marks on them. You can't see them, but those floors have marks on them to tell them where to stand. He jumps up, finds his mark, and says, okay, we're going to go to a commercial break.
He's all right. He's just sleeping.
There we go. He's all right. He's just sleeping. And I'm wondering if T thought that he was over there clowning at this point, too. Now, Hogan realizes that this isn't good. And I think he was kind of concerned whether he might have just killed this man or not. Someone called the SVU. I hear that bell every time Brick says Thanos copter. All right, here we go.
Really, I was a sleeper hole. He'll be all right.
Now, no, that wasn't a sleeper hole, but what T's doing right now, he realizes that the audience is in shock. And the audience is consisting of 50 children, half of which I guess are in wheelchairs or crippled or whatever, because that's what he wanted to have in there. And that he's kind of trying to appease the audience that, hey, everything's all right. He's not really hurt. He's just sleeping. And he told him that was a sleeper hold. And he's just saying that, just to tell him that hole put him to sleep.
He's waking up now. There was a lot of people.
All right, he's waking up now. So he's starting to reboot now. And Hogan takes his hand. I think Hogan is genuinely realizes, hey, this went a little too far at this point. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that Hogan's actions wasn't genuine and or deliberate at the same time, because the man really asked for it. But at the same time, being in that whole KayFabe and whatnot, I think he pretty much thought that it went too far, but at the same time, in thinking, did it go far enough?
The Shaitan's Hammer, I know you can't see the chat there, brother, but the Shaitan's Hammer goes, I'm shocked that there were not stagehands and medics trying to figure out what's up. First of all, remember, this is 1985. There probably weren't any medics anywhere nearby. Second of all, I don't think anybody at this point knew how bad this was, except perhaps maybe Hogan. He was rushed. Belzer was rushed to the hospital to as soon as he got backstage and they saw what was going on. Bone breaking action says, when it comes to crashing down, it hurts being a man and announce a commercial break. All right, Brick something says, I think both Belzer and Hogan had dirty underwear at this moment, but for different reasons. You're on to something there, Brick. I know. Part of getting up quickly and announcing after these messages gets me suspicious. Who gets up that quickly and knows where you are? Look, I don't think he knew where he was. I think that he got up and instinctively found his mark and asked for a commercial break. That's my opinion. I mean, you decide.
If you look at Belzer's face when he gets up and how quickly it was, that man was dazed. You could see it written all in his face. Now, the whole thing of him like snorting cocaine before the whole interview and whatnot, whatever, that's news to me because I didn't really follow this story. I just thought this shit was funny as hell. But at the end of the day, looking at it, wow.
And I suggest, John, that you do this, and my dear chat here and watchers, go check out Jim Cornette's take on this whole thing. It's out there over there on his channel. on that podcast that he does every week. And it's been several years ago he talked about this, but he talks about the fact that really the main issue here is the fact that Belzer was coked out and his heart was racing too fast. And Cornette even tells him the same thing happened to him at one point. He got put in a hole and got knocked out there. Where is the cocaine proof? It's okay. First of all, you have to be a cocaine user like Cornette was maybe to or be around it like the wrestling profession is so known for. That's why what happened at the NWA pay-per-view here during Samhain went so damn bad, that they're out there pretending like they're using cocaine, these people know what it looks like when somebody's coked out, and they know what the symptoms are, and Belzer is showing all of them. All right, let's watch what happens here when he gets up.
It works. All right, brother.
And now, we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who. We'll be right back.
Now, I can't back this up. I'm going to try to back it up just a slight bit here. Went too far, way too far. When he turned around, there we go. When he turns around, look at the back of his jacket. You can see the blood back there on the back of his jacket. And he jumps up, he finds his mark, and he says, "We'll be right back after these messages," or you-know-who, or whatever he said. Rick says, "I can't afford cocaine, so I'm not an expert." Me either, but I've seen people who do it. I never did it, but I've seen the results of that. And John, you might have a little experience in that in your time as well. I don't know. So you can look at Belzer and you can tell that he ain't operating properly. He's got some speed or something going on there if it ain't cocaine. Right. Belzer knew where the camera was and where it looked. That's because he found his mark. That's an instinct. That's an actor instinct. Hey, what's going on, Boba Hicks, man? Shaitan's Hammer says that motor mouth response seems like a total programmed auto response. Yeah, it is. That's absolutely what that was. He's operating basic instinct at this point. His brain has just rebooted. He's kind of trying. Hey, what just happened to me? Okay, I'm on TV. I gotta get a commercial break. I gotta take a break and figure out what's going on.
Hey, it works. All right, brother.
And now, we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who.
There it is, right there. The video's shitty. I realize it's real muddy there, but you can see that blood stain where he was laying in that pool of blood, and it kind of pooled up and got onto his jacket there. Now, of course, it's a head wound, and we already know head wounds bleed profusely anyway. But what happens when your blood's thinned out from snorting cocaine and you're all fucked up and your heart's beating at 9,000 miles an hour? I mean, that's going to make that shit pump out even faster. Cobb, okay. I don't like cocaine. I just like the smell. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now there's an aftermath to this, and I don't know if I want to play all that or not because we've been on for quite some time, but we'll see if anybody wants to hear it.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. Now, this video continues on because when they came back from commercial break, the producer of the show was out there because they had taken Belzer to the hospital, and Belzer wasn't going to go back out there anyway, even if he hadn't gone to the hospital. And they tried to repair what damage has been done. And of course, Hogan said comes across as genuinely sorry, according to this article I'm reading here. but he's also trying to keep pace with this apology and continue to protect the industry and stay in kayfabe. Mr. T, on the other hand, decides to cut a promo. T cuts a promo for WrestleMania, talking about how Hogan's the champion of the world. You don't mess with him and all that. So if you guys want to see that, I'll be glad to play it. But I want to try to catch up with the chat here a little bit and let's talk about some of this a little more. Shaitan's Hammer says you know who is an ad lib for sure. It absolutely is. I mean, he Rick says to Jacob here, you have to snort it to smell it. Boba Hicks says, I'm a Coke addict. I love a little bit of Coca-Cola from a glass bottle. You snort Coca-Cola, man, you're a badass. What's up, Blue Sasquatch? And Rick says that there's another clearer video on YouTube. Sure there is, but I've got the shitty video on purpose. And I also got a video that shows both halves of this. And we can get into the other half too, but it's a little longer, and I'm going to have to skip around in a little bit. Mr. T thought Belzer was a fool and did not pity him. Thank you, Gocha.
Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely. So you guys in the chat, let me know, do you want to see Hulk Hogan trying to apologize for this and watch Mr. T decide to cut a promo after this horrid incident that just happened? I think it's hilarious that T cuts a promo after this is over with. What do you think, John?
I actually I just downloaded the whole 24-minute video interview that they did, and looking at some of the stuff that they got on there, I'm just like, did that really happen? Yeah, Mr. T cutting that promo, that was funny as I thought it was. That's just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, you know. Man gets hurt, he's gone. Hey, let's cut a promo.
And bone breaking action here, and it says KayFabe and cocaine. God bless the 80s. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, man. And real quick, while I'm thinking about it, if this is the first time that you're here and you're enjoying this kind of content, I would appreciate it if you would go up and hit that like button. And if you want to see more of this, hit that subscribe button. I need subscribers really, really bad. I'm almost to 1,000, and I'm about just a hair over 100 away from getting my 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe. And thank you so very much, everybody. Let's continue here with the conversation from Rick. He says, you ever saw T's interview on Letterman? He was pissed. Well, Mr. T, that was part of his shtick as well, was to stay pissed off. Now, that might have been part of his personality to begin with, but I think he ran with that. That he was always angry and pissed off, whether he really was or not. I think the man was a genuinely good person, though.
Yeah.
Boba Hicks says, at least he didn't get jailed like Vader did for messing with that TV. In Kuwait, thank you. We talked about that earlier, Boba Hicks. And I said that I thought that had happened overseas, and you just confirmed that it was in Kuwait. Yeah. So what do you think, guys? I haven't heard from the chat yet. Do you want me to show the other half of this or not? I'm going to have to get some confirmation from that. Super chat would help. You know, that if I got a super chat, I would definitely show the other half of this. Rick says he wanted to put that sleeper hold on Letterman. Yeah, Dave Letterman was another one that was part of his shtick, was kind of trying to insult you on the air without you being able to do anything about it. You know, Letterman was classic. He always made his guest chair sit lower than his, which sat up high, so he could sit there and loom over them while he was interviewing them. Mike Fee talking about T, he says, in person, he's not like that. He's just calm until he gets annoyed. Mike V says, show it. So Mike V wants me to show the second half. So, what do you think, John? You want to watch that or not? I mean, it's kind of long.
Well, I want to see it because I haven't seen it yet. But at the same time, you know, gives us more to talk about. So yeah, let's
Okay. All right. Now, to set expectations on this, that producer's going to come out and he's going to run his pie hole. Blah 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 blah. I may skip through. Here we go. Briscoe 1 2 3 4 with Canadian $6.99. Let's see the other half. You got it, brother. So we're going to watch all of it now. Of course, I still have to skip through this because it's still going to be the same deal as it was for the first part. But we're going to say the thumbnail from this video is rad. Thank you, Bone Breaking Action. Those are my actual action figures I have over here on the display table. Remember I told you I was going to have Hogan put Angry Man into that front face lock. If you looked at the thumbnail for today's video, yeah, there it is. T standing there, and Hogan got him in the front face lock. Awesome, Briscoe. Bill will like that. Thank you, Briscoe, and Mike Fee. Thank you, sir. And here we go. We're going to start the video. I'm going to kind of skip. There's some piano music here at the beginning. Here, I'm going to try to skip across that if I can.
These things happen on television. I'm going to take off. Okay? I'll see you next time. Richard was hurt. It was an accident. Hulk didn't mean to do it. These things happen on television. It is live television. And now I think...
Okay, that's my home phone ringing there. But anyway, this is the producer here, and he's trying to clean this up the best he can. He's actually making an excuse for Hogan, saying, you know, this is live television and these things happen, and he's going to go into this long-winded thing, and then Hogan's going to talk.
And TV should just talk about this kind of thing, how it can happen, and how to avoid it.
You know, this thing and how we can avoid it. So, you know, he's trying to clean things up a little bit here, and Hogan looks like a little kid in the principal's office, doesn't
he? I think it's funny.
I feel really bad about this.
Yeah, go ahead, John. You're starting to talk there. Go ahead and finish that thought before I start it back up.
I really think it's funny the way the mood shifted. The producer comes out, Hogan looking like he got in trouble at the principal's office. And, you know, it's again, I give credit where credit is due. Hogan, I don't disagree that he was genuine about being sorry for how it happened, but at the end of the day, now that I'm seeing a lot more of the video, and now knowing the knowledge that I have now that the man was zoomed out after that crap, you know, at the end of the day, you really got, and then being the kind of butthole you were being, you really kind of got what you deserved. So at the end of the day, and it may not have been necessarily that that he deserved to fall on his face, head, whatever, and get busted open. But then again, at the same time, yeah, you kind of did.
Well, I go back to what I said earlier today. First of all, I think Hogan meant to put some pain on this guy. I do think he meant to put him in pain. I don't think that he meant for him to bust his head open on the concrete floor. Okay, I think that Hogan was genuinely in shock. You know, you can rewind this and you can go back to when he let go of Belzer. See, Belzer was a clown. Okay, he had already clowned on Hogan by falling in the floor like an idiot there at the beginning when Hogan barely put his finger on him. So, you know, I don't think Hogan realized that the guy was knocked out. I mean, look how quickly he went out. I mean, that was pretty fast. I would say that if I took and put a healthy individual in a front face lock, it would take a lot longer than that for me to get them that knocked out. So, you know, you could tell that Hogan was surprised when he hit that floor like that. And I know he heard that head smack that concrete, and he knows what happens when heads smack concrete. It busts wide open. All right, let's go ahead and watch a little bit more of this shit here in this producer.
Richard asked me to demonstrate a professional wrestling hold, and that's exactly what I did. I put what is called a front chin lock on the man, and when I released him, he fell and hit his floor. It's a situation where you need to be a professional at all times, and
that's right, Hogan. You needed to be a professional at all times. I think you should have listened to T at the beginning. We ain't showing nobody no moves. So at this point here, you know, as much as I have defended Hogan in this, Hogan bears responsibility for actually bringing him playing along with him and bringing him over there and putting that fucking chin lock on him, right?
I agree.
All right, let's move on here.
Type of hold, when I would put that on a professional wrestler, I would apply probably 10 times as much pressure. I didn't realize it.
And he's absolutely right. I talked about that earlier, if you remember, John, that he could have snapped his head clean off of his neck, right, if he had wanted to. He wasn't applying a whole lot of pressure to him. He just wanted him to feel it, that little bit of pain. And Shaitan's Hammer's like, wow, Hogan in normal guy mode. Yeah, well, sure he is. Hogan knows he done fucked up. And I think Shaitan was saying it earlier. The guys sitting in a Hartford boardroom were probably freaking out at this point. I don't know if there was a Hartford boardroom back in 1985 or not, but I'm sure Vince was like, "Oh, goddamn sons of bitches! Wait till I get them in here. I'm going to blow them up." You know, I could. Yeah. Was Hogan ever young once? Yes, he was. He even went through Memphis, Tennessee there at one time, and Jerry Lawler whooped that ass. All right, we're gonna move on here and continue with this. I think sincere apology. I can't wait to see Teague over there fixing to cut this promo though.
Apparently, he doesn't do any physical training at all. You know, I'm not sure.
Apparently, he doesn't do any physical training at all. He's talking about the condition Belzer was in when he went up there. Yeah. Move on here.
Sure. I'm
listen to the audience. Well, you can hear the snickers in the audience.
Yeah.
Saying that in a smart way. I really apologize. I mean, you know, usually something like that I could put on Mr. T and there would be.
Oh yeah, he says I really apologize for that. I could put this hold on Mr. T and
no problem at all. You know, because
no problem at all. But I put it on coked out Belzer and look what happened. Rick says, I was a kid back then and Hogan looks the same today. No, he does not. I disagree. Hogan looks like shit if you see him nowadays. And I ask you this, John, because I haven't seen Hogan in a while, but has he got that sunk in place on his chest that all those steroid users have? You see it on Rick Steiner's chest.
I necessarily haven't seen it. In fact, the last thing that I remember seeing, I forget where I seen it, but Hogan was, or so-called rumored to be coming back to the WWF for one last match at 79 years old. This man does not need to do this.
Not at all. And last time I saw Hogan, he was a little bit out of shape and overweight. And he is 79 years old or getting close to it anyway. I believe you on that one. And he doesn't have any money. He's just like all the rest of these sons of bitches. He made like Evel Knievel. I made millions and millions of dollars and I spent millions and millions of dollars. And he spent his whole life doing bullshit like this right here and having to pay for it. And so when it finally gets to the point to where he's hungry again, he has to go crawling back to the wrestling ring and turn into a clown. And that I hate it for him, but you know, he's brought a lot of this on himself. Of course, a little older, but you could tell that it's still him in the 80s. Yes, you can, except for the fact that that little wisp of hair on the top of his head is completely gone now.
Yeah.
Let's continue on here with this video.
He didn't give me any type of sign or say anything.
He didn't give me any type of sign.
You know, it's a situation where I just like to warn people that if you're not a professional athlete or not a professional wrestler, don't try to copy what you see the athletes or the professional.
That was directed directly at any children watching this. Yes. Don't copy this. Rick says Linda Hogan got most of his money. She did. I wonder how much of that Bubba the Love Sponge soaked up. Hogan is coming back, but not to wrestle. He had back surgery, and he will be on an on-screen boss or something. Okay, I could see that, and I would agree with that. Let's let him be J.J. Dillon in the WCW or something like that. Let him be the general manager, or do what Stone Cold used to do and come out, you know, and be Hogan, but let's protect him. And if he's had back surgery, he doesn't need to take any bumps.
Absolutely.
Mike Feast saying, come on, there we go. Mike Feast says he makes his money from his beach shop in Tampa, and he just opened up a bar called Hogan's Hangout. I'm wondering if he's making any money at those little ventures there. He may be making some. I don't know. Alex says that Hogan's daughter is hot. I don't know. I know who she is. I'm not paying attention to what she actually looks like, but you're probably right there, Alex. Have you seen what his daughter looks like, John?
Yeah, I have. She's out of my league.
Boba Hicks says conspiracy. Belzer worked everyone to sue the network on health and safety grounds. Did he sue the network or did he sue Hogan? That's the question. I think he sued Hogan, right?
I think it was Hogan. I believe it was Hogan. However, I think, now that I'm doing some research here, I think there was a little bit of the network as well, because they did not have safety and whatnot.
The medics that they were talking about earlier in the chat, somebody to come running out there and see about him as soon as he hits that head. Stone Cold was great. Rick says that the daughter looks like his new wife. Okay. Let's continue on with this, because I'm ready to see T sit there and start clowning off here in just a second.
On TV.
Or in the add to what the Hulk's saying. This man is the champion of the world in wrestling.
This is the beginning of the problem. This man is the champion of the world in wrestling. I gotta protect my industry, and I got to promote this event that we got coming up.
I don't know if you've seen the piece a while back on 2020. The reporter asked one of the wrestlers was wrestling fake or for real. So the wrestler slapped the interviewer twice upside the head.
Talking about John Stossel, that Dr. D went out there and gave him an earring, and he slapped him on one side of the head, and then he slapped him on the other side of the head. And Stossel claimed, I think John Stossel was playing that up too, but Stossel claimed that he lost hearing for 8 straight days. I don't believe that at all. I believe his ears rang.
Now, I don't doubt that his ears were ringing. But at the end of the day, you lost hearing for 8 straight days, and then all of a sudden, 8 days later, you've got your hearing back. I'm sorry, that don't happen.
Oh, if you, I don't have the video handy, but he went on 2020 after that was over with. And you should have seen Barbara Walters sitting there playing right along with him. They played that up. They were playing that like a damn fiddle.
Well, yeah, that's mainstream media. I mean, what exactly does mainstream media do? They play the same way that they do today. They play with the politicians. They play up to the politicians. They play up to whatever, let's make it bigger than it is. So, that's how they get their views.
And Shady Hampshire, there should have been a Matt out there saying, well, first of all, yes, if they knew they were going to do some bullshit like that on the show, this was all totally off script. They went out that they weren't planning on going out there and play wrestling on this TV show. And I go back to what I said before. Say what you will about Mr. T, but Mr. T said, we're not going to show you no moves. And that should have been the end of it right there. Hogan said, yeah, it would be way too dangerous for me to show you any moves, Belzer. And then after the show was over with, if Belzer wanted to act a fucking clown, he could take him off the side, put a front face lock on him and leave him laying in the fucking floor, and they get in the limousine and leave. And that probably would have been better off. I don't know what you're doing with that stick, but it looks funny as hell.
My kids are up there jumping up and down on the floor.
Oh, I don't know. On the ceiling. You old man. That's an old man move if I ever seen one in my damn life. He takes his cane, you kids need to be quiet up there. Usually you lose your hearing due to a loud sound. Okay, I've been smacked upside the head a couple of times in my life. And an open palm, your ear is like a suction cup. And that open palm hitting your ear like that can burst your eardrum.
Right.
That air just gets whooshed down into your ear. And that eardrum is just a tiny little bit of skin there. And it doesn't take a whole lot to burst that.
No, I don't.
And once again, Mike said he was coked up as he was in the moment and wanted to be knocked out. All right, let's continue on and watch T cutting this promo here.
Yeah, I wanted to know, was it fake or for real? I think he found out it was for real.
T is he's just beside himself. You could tell that he's seething with anger right now.
I was saying earlier, this is not a joke. You see me train out here, I am serious.
You see me train, I'm serious. This is not a joke.
I don't get in that ring with these two guys I'm going up against Sunday. Joking. These guys are dangerous. I got to know what I'm doing.
He's starting into the promo now. He's cutting the promo for WrestleMania right now, folks.
Be much better. I've trimmed down. I lost 27 pounds in 4 weeks. Like I said, I've been training with the Hulk. In this training hard. I've been eating right. We're throwing each other around.
Taking my vitamins and saying my prayers.
I have to be in top physical condition.
I got to be in top physical condition because these are some dangerous people that we going into the ring with.
Examined by a doctor, make sure I'm healthy.
Examined by a doctor to make sure I'm not coked out of my skull.
It's too many people going around saying, hey, I think it's phony, I think this here, The man asked, this is a champion. I wouldn't ask him myself to put me in a wrestling hole.
Build up Hogan.
You didn't get to be the heavyweight champion of the world in wrestling by playing.
You don't get to be the heavyweight champion of the world by playing. And Hogan shouldn't have played. He should have listened to T. Let me keep on going here. This is funny as shit. That's the end of it. So we've reached the end of it. That's all of the whole thing. We saw all of it there. Both of them are roasting Belzer as he's on his way to get his head stitched up, says Briscoe. Absolutely. So that's it. That's all of it, guys. So we had a chance to see the whole thing. So There we go. Now I had you full screen there for a minute. Now we got us back together again. So what did you guys think about that? Do you agree that Belzer was coked out of his skull? Do you think that Hogan was sincerely sorry for what happened? You leave some comments on this after the show's over with in the comments below about your thoughts on the whole thing. And now I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I want you to talk a little bit there, John, because I've kind of been motor mouthing here through this whole thing. Go ahead.
I kind of think, with the way that all of this transpired, in the way that Belzer was on this, I don't know too much about Richard Belzer. Admittedly, I probably should. But at the end of the day, when you are dealing with professional wrestlers, you can't ask for what you received and then later on really want to take them to court and do the crap out of them. I think that was wrong, first and foremost. But there was a whole lot of wrongs. One with the network, they not having the hand presences that they needed to have on hand. Then, of course, you can't. Well, I guess you can because it was the 80s. You can't. I personally think that if you're going to be a shock jock asshole type person and you ask for such things, you got what you deserved. And so at the end of the day, you shouldn't be able to. I don't think you should be able to take them to court, get $5 million. That $5 million, I'm not going to say what probably happened to that. He was probably coked out the rest of his life.
All right, I'll answer you on that. In the aftermath, Belzer sued and settled out of court for $5 million. So I don't know what he actually sued him for. And of course, the $5 million out of court settlement, we really don't know how much money that was. That's what Belzer says he got out of it. Okay. It also said, I'm going to go a little bit further here. Belzer said that he bought a farm on France and named it after Hulk Hogan, a little chateau that he bought in France with the $5 million. I don't know if he did or not. That's what he said. But I will go on to say that at the end of this article, it says, on February the 19th in 2023, Richard Belzer passed away at the age of 78. Belzer's death was confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter by his long-term friend, Bill Sheft. And this is what Bill Sheft says. He had lots of health issues. And his last words were, "Fuck you, motherfucker."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I got another article pulled up here. Here it is. Soon later, Belzer took Hogan to court, and according to this article, attempting to sue for $5 million. However, eventually this will be settled out of court. So the amount of money that Belzer got out of this is up in the air. Nobody knows, and the court's not going to say that shit's sealed. They never do. But he said he seemingly well off after this payment. Belzer managed to buy a farmhouse in Nice, France, and would get to use the incident as stand-up material in his HBO special, Another Lone Nut. So there are interviews out there with Belzer talking about this incident, and he played it up the rest of his life and used it as material. So take that for what it is. Yes, he called the house Shea Hogan. That's absolutely right there, Pop Actor. He settled out of court for 26 grams. He settled out of court. It says Jacob. He settled out of court for 26 grams. He was thinking of Hogan right before he died, said Rick. Okay. I'm gonna have to run, see a man about a horse real quick, John. I'm gonna let you entertain everybody while I'm doing that. So I'm gonna just kind of run for just a second. I'll be right back, guys.
So, thinking about what we just seen, Belzer, and of course, at the end, you know, you got Mr. T cutting the promo, which I think that was funny, and I think probably kind of a lot of that was also maybe Mr. T's kind of if what was actually said about the children and the handicapped children and whatnot. So you think about that, maybe that was kind of Mr. T's sort of soft, subtle revenge to cut the promo. And, you know, I think that was pretty cool. Let me take a look at what's here in the chat. Let's see. He bought Hogan a house and called it the Chen Hogan. Pop actor Rick. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, he did. He called it Shea Hogan. I'm bringing the comment up there that you're reading right now.
Yes.
And Mike Fee disagreed with Cobweb. It wasn't 26 grams. It was 30 grams that he settled for. Bill has gone to practice a sleeper hold. Yeah, I did. I put it right on my wing there as I was taking a leak. Mike Fee, 4 grams went to his lawyer. And 7 grams went to his staff. All right, we're going on here. Cobb, you seem to know a lot about cocaine, says Rick. I don't know. You know, I've never done it myself, but I've seen people doing it. I've been. Oh, hella dope toys. What's going on? I don't know which one of you it is, but I believe that's probably not Aaron. So there we go. What's up, man? Ted Dark Claw in the house is what I think happened right here. Good afternoon. You missed all the fun, Ted. So what we've witnessed today is what happens when you fuck around. You fuck around and you find out it's like a little curve, you know. The more you fuck around, the more you find out. It kind of goes right, you know, right up, like, you know. Hey, Ted Darkclaw, food you. It's me, Aaron. Oh, it's Aaron. What's happening, Aaron? Good to see you, man. More than you may think. Yeah. So Cobby may know a little bit about said substance there. Oh wow. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you. The Belzer incident was mentioned in the Dark Side of the Ring episode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been mentioned quite a bit. And I decided to talk about it today. I thought it would be good fodder for today, considering that I got the 2 figures to show this off with. Let me show this up real quick. Right over here. You and I are on the screen both, and we can see. And I'll move the camera over just a little bit so you can see this a little better here. There we go. We got T right there. You know, he's saying he's just sleeping. He's just sleeping. He's sleeping. And we got that Belzer there in that front face lock there. Yeah. Cobweb Collector, don't get high on your own supply, says Rick. And Aaron saying hello to Cobb, Mike, and Briscoe there. So at the end of the day, what are your final thoughts on that? Okay. What are your final thoughts on that? We're feeding the ducks right now. Hey, young lady.
Hi.
My final thoughts on that. Hold on. My final thoughts on that. Really, I think with the way the whole interview went, I think that keeping to what Vince McMahon also had planned, and keeping, and of course Hogan being the Vince McMahon yes man that he was and is, he followed exactly what he was told to do. So, and that's just like any of the wrestlers back in that era. Vince McMahon told you to do something, you did it, or you're never working again. At least not under him for a very long time.
Absolutely, and I like I said at the very beginning of today's show, this was the days of kayfabe. These wrestlers were told to protect the industry at all costs, and that's exactly what Hogan did when he went out there. And I direct you to ignore all of this video except the very first part when Hogan deflected, when Belzer was trying to bring up that heel face turn that he made and trying to trip Hogan up. Hogan did probably one of the most excellent jobs of deflecting that I've ever seen in my life. Oh yeah, I agree with that. All right, we're fixing to get ready to go, folks. The ducks are being fed right now. It looks like that, figuratively speaking, needs to go and take care of some family business here shortly. So I'll let you tell them all about your channel and where to see you, and then I'll give mine. All right. Well, you can see me on IG at Figuratively Speaking. You can also see me on YouTube, Figuratively Speaking. I do have some wrestling unboxings I'll be doing with WWE, WWF superstars, whichever you prefer to call them. I have a stop motion video that I will be doing, that I will be, posting later on in the week. And then I have a few other toys that I'll be unboxing, and that's what's going on for me for this week. As well as I'm going to try and venture into another segment of my channel, which is going to be with my comic books and my collection with that. So that's what's happening with me. Can't wait to see it, man. Of course, you know me, I'm Bill. This is Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. I'm on IG, and that's probably it. Don't look for me on X. I do hang out on Facebook, but I don't say a word usually except in certain chats. I will ask everyone to do me a big favor and head over to Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. They're getting ready to do their show here shortly. Tell them I sent you, and we'll see you all over there. That's where I'm going to be headed. And is this live? It was, but it's just about over with there, Blue Sasquatch. We'll see you guys next time right here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. In the meantime, have a good journey.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.